Hey everybody, and that includes you too, of course. Welcome back to my dating tips and dating secrets to help you open up his heart. There are 7 ways that you can satisfy your man everywhere you go. Now, of course, when I'm talking about satisfaction, it's not just sexual satisfaction. The problem with a lot of the articles out there that are geared towards helping women with men is that they really pretty much only talk about the superficial elements, sexually satisfying a guy. I mean, for the most part, it's not that difficult, okay? And I know, I'm no fool. I know you're here for that crazy trick in bed that's going to make him think that you're irreplaceable. But at the risk of you bailing on this particular podcast, I'm going to give you those tips. I'm going to give you those 7 ways to satisfy your man, but not before I stress that the best way to satisfy him is before you get there, before you get into bed with him, okay? Sound familiar? Everybody says, that you hear out there says that foreplay really starts the morning you wake up, and you know that you want to get it on again that night, which is, most days for most guys. So keep in mind that it works both ways. If you really want him to get him satisfied so that he keeps coming back for more and never wants to go elsewhere, start your satisfaction plan the second you wake up. All right. Everywhere you go, you can make your relationship an erotic adventure, even if you're not, getting jiggy with it. Oh my God, did he say jiggy with it? What is that, like 90s? Or is that like 2000s? I don't even know anymore. Because the more you connect your sex life to your regular love life, the happier the both of you are going to be. There's continuity. What I observe in my clients and in a lot of the couples that I've talked to, and a lot of the women that I've talked to, and a lot of the men that I've talked to separately, is that there's a disparity there. There's a disconnect, a break. There's the sex life, and then there's the love life. But there's no continuity. I wouldn't say no continuity, but the direct continuity between the love life and the sex life isn't as present as it needs to be. All right. Now you may think, if I love him, then I can sleep with him. And that's true. But you also have to carry over the love making into your everyday life and vice versa. Your everyday life into your love making. So let's start with how to satisfy him in the store. Now, I'm not talking about inviting him into the changing room, although I'm sure it's an option for some people. I just can't recommend it because of all the arrests out there for people that have gotten a little bit too excited when they were trying on their clothes. But you can satisfy him in the store. You're out shopping or he's out shopping. Could be the grocery store, could be the shoe store, wherever you are. The first way you can really satisfy a guy is to think about what draws his eye to you. All right. Every woman has her assets, the go-to part of her anatomy that keeps them excited, right? Maybe it's your boobs, your butt, your legs, your calves. I don't know what it is. There's some pretty obscure places. Actually, every guy has, by the way, a part of you that he finds extremely sexy, and maybe multiple parts that really is not a sexual part of your body. It could be the nape of your neck. It could be your earlobes. It could be your chin, your lips, your nose, your eyes, any number of features, the small of your back, that little cavity, that little hollow behind the back of the knee. Any number of these little weird places on you can turn him on. So, you know what? Maybe he's even fetishized it slightly, like your toes or your cleavage or your elbows. Hey, I'm not judging. What I want you to do is to keep an eye out and talk to him about the ways that you can just find out, first of all, what parts of your body he is finding attractive like that, and then find ways to work that part of your anatomy that keeps his eyes locked on you. It's going to add to the titillation and foreplay factor because all he can do is look and fantasize. When you're out shopping or just out working the clothes thing, that's all you can do. And that's a great way to kind of drive up a little anticipation and desire. Number 2 is satisfying him in the kitchen. Okay, ladies, let's not lose it here. I'm not saying you need to be relegated to kitchen duty and you're cooking for him barefoot and pregnant, all right? If you've been around me for any amount of time, or if you've read any of my articles or listened to any more of these podcasts, you'll know that I'm not a misogynist. And of course, I'm also not a quote-unquote feminist. I'm a celebrate your gender kind of guy, okay? There's great things about each gender. Let's not get so hung up on having to promote our gender that we forget about this gap that we're trying to cross to the other gender. All right, enough political stuff. I will mention that if you're able to show a man that you can cook and you can please his palate, he won't think of that as being a red flag when it comes time to figure out how good you are together. So you do want to be able to satisfy him in, let's just say, culinary ways. So if you'd like to satisfy him, there's a shortcut, and that is, of course, through his tummy. The best part about this one is that you don't have to cook. You just have to know where to get the food in your area, or, get it takeout or whatever, and get him there. Just get it into his mouth. Either way, he's going to be under the influence of it. You can bring it home, you can serve it up at home, you can get him there, it doesn't matter. It's just going to make you yummier by association. Find out his favorite flavors. Is he a salt and savory guy? Is he a sweet tooth guy? Is he a red meat dude? Find out the flavors and the things he likes to eat that he's partial to, and then get that into his mouth. That sounds really dirty. Of course, then there's dessert, isn't there? You got tons of things you can do there. Just find out these different individual taste things. Me, I've got a soft spot for really moist chocolate cake. Love it, just love it to death, but I don't really have it very often. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I've had it. It's probably been over a year. But when that chocolate cake is put up in front of me, hoo-yah. Yeah, I'm down for that. Same thing with chocolate chip cookies. Satisfy him in the living room, number 3. Look, if you're just unstoppably horny, you can take him by the hand straight from the front door to the sheets of your bed. But you'd be missing out on what I call the waiting room of bliss. That's right, your living room. Most of the sexual experience for men is in the will she or won't she factor. Okay, that's what really gets guys turned on. That's kind of our foreplay. It's the will she or won't she let me get there tonight. It's the not knowing if you're going to let us in for some horizontal bopping. So when you get back to his place or your place, make a little stop off, or take a little stop off, a little delay if you will, and stop in the living room. Listen to some music, set the mood, light a few candles, start with a little bit of smoochie. Did he just say smoochie? Yes, he did. It's this little waypoint on the way to the bedroom that will serve as a nice pre-zone of foreplay. Remember my motto, the wanting is always better than the having, but the wanting also makes the having better. Number 4 is satisfy him in the family holiday. And no, I'm not referring to sneaking off to his brother's room for a quickie when you're over at the house. Family get-togethers are yet another of those places where you might feel tempted to let yourself get frustrated. I get it. Believe me, I have this problem with, just say, certain people in certain other families. You have to deal with those relatives you like, and of course, the ones you don't like. And both in his family and yours, right? So why not make the most of this merry little situation and turn it into something that can lower his stress? The fact is that men only have so much nurturing ability to go around. It's just not our strength, okay? And if his family or your family is draining those batteries, those social batteries, well, guess who doesn't get taken care of? Yeah, that's right, it's you. So the more you can help him avoid the usual petty nonsense of family holidays, get-togethers, and so forth, the better. One of the best ways you can do that is to keep your stuff out of his head. Keep your stuff out of his head. What do I mean by that? Well, yeah, I know. When mom starts criticizing or making her nasty little comments about your hair, your job, whatever, you just got to let it go. I mean, I don't know here. Maybe you have a great relationship with his mom and a bad relationship with his dad, or vice versa. Or maybe they're both great. Or maybe you just have that weird aunt, but there's always somebody that just manages to piss you off in their family. So remember, they're going to do it and they're going to try and get a rise out of you. Even if they're not trying, they're going to. So you have to keep that stuff out. You got to let it go. You can't be going to him saying, did you hear what she just said to me? That bitch. Oh my God, I'm going to Because when you bring your coping mechanism over to him, which is to say you vent to him all these things, he's going to feel super pressured, and that kills the vibe. It's going to really push him to an unsexy place. Now, I'm not saying that your needs can't get met, but that's a separate strategy for you and your man to work out when you're going to those little family get-togethers and family events. The more drama-free you can keep things, the better, okay? Number 5 is to satisfy him before he even thinks about the bedroom. I know you're saying, he thinks about the bedroom all the time. Well, this is where you can start to spark the sexy time vibe right from the very first moment of waking up. Send him a little thinking of you text early in the day to help get things going. The way to structure this message is just saying something that's like, you don't need to reply to me and I'm not seeking any kind of validation. Okay, that's what should be the subtext of your text. You're sending him something loving and fun and sexy, or whatever you want to make it, But you don't want to send the message that says, or that he hears anyways, underneath your message, please reply to me. I need you to reply to me. I need to be validated. Okay, because when he hears that underneath your whatever it is you say, it's going to push him. It's going to feel like pressure. Most texts that guys get carry that hidden message inside them. That's why guys have a problem texting you back, quite frankly, because we don't want to engage with that. We don't want to get caught up in that dynamic. We can sense it. That's why most guys don't respond to needy texts. And of course, what is a needy text? It's the one you really need him to respond to. So if he doesn't, it freaks you out. And this is why, when we feel any kind of pressure, it becomes next to impossible for us to do the thing that's being asked of us. It's a weird dichotomy or a weird duality inside a man. It's like being told that we have to do something, and then that's what makes our inner rebel snap to attention and say, not going to do it. So make it light and almost like a throwaway text or throwaway message. Let me give you an example here. Hey, hot stuff. Don't think about me running my hands up and down your body. TTYL. Of course, that TTYL stands for talk to you later, which is a cue to him that he can just breathe a sigh of relief. He doesn't have to respond to you. You've already signed off. You've already said, I'll talk to you later. I'm not expecting you to text me back. This is incredibly liberating, and it definitely makes it much easier on a guy. No pressure. He can now wallow in the fantasy that you just set him up with. Him thinking about you running your hands all up and down his body, right? Another way to satisfy him by driving up this tension is to playfully touch him in passing. Let's say you guys live together. If he's sitting in his chair reading, or he's doing something on his way to get ready to go out and go for work, you can just come over and run your hand along the back of his neck, or nibble on his ear once before telling him, hey, I'm just going out for a bit, or I'll see you later. And guess what? Guess what he's going to be thinking about until you get back, or until he can get back into your loving arms, baby. Number 6 is satisfy him on the way to the bedroom. Who says you have to make a mad dash to the bedroom, right? Stop in the hallway, tug down his Levi's, and prime the pump a little bit, so to speak. Or maybe just wait outside the door and tell him how to prepare for your entrance. Or just go sit in the chair in the corner of the room there and be a little dominant with him. Tell him where to go and what you want him to do for you. There's no rules other than the ones we make up in our head to avoid embarrassment and possible rejection. That's what we do, right? We set these little boundaries on our behavior. And this is especially true for women who don't want to be rejected when it comes to these things. You don't want to be turned away. You don't want to be embarrassed. So you set up a rule in your head that says, I won't go quite that far, Carlos, because I don't want to take that chance. Okay? But that chance, that zone of chance, is really where a lot of this excitement, especially a lot of the sexual energy, can come from. If you've got a good connection with your man, which you should have established a very safe zone around you two that keeps you both feeling comfortable and secure. All right? And if you're ever in doubt, you should have a little open conversation outside the bedroom, or just after you're done, when the afterglow can facilitate a little bit of openness between you two about the things you want and the things you don't want, or where you feel vulnerable. And if you make it known to him, he's going to be more sensitive to the fact that he shouldn't be playing with that space. He shouldn't be taking advantage of that. He shouldn't be anything but accommodating, so that you can feel safe making those advances. I hope that makes sense. All right. And there's this little zone, this weird zone that men and women get into where they don't want to talk about things. They don't want to ask certain things of the other. And, it's going to limit what kind of satisfaction you're really going to get when it comes time to take it to the bedroom. All right. Number 7 in the list is satisfy him in the bedroom. Yeah, come on. I know you came to this particular podcast hoping for those insider tips that will make him just fall over and die for you. That one special sexy tip that will lock him in and completely win him over. Well, the truth is that if you think a single sexual trick, flip, move, whatever is going to earn a man's loyalty, you're probably looking for the easy win, right? That's the one that just seems like a magic pill that requires no work on your part, doesn't take any effort, and just happens magically. Here, just eat this pill and everything will happen magically. You'll lose weight magically. You tired of me saying magically? These are what I call superficial la-la solutions. As in, la la, I can't hear what you're saying. I can't hear what reality is saying. La 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 la. And you're trying to plug your ears with your fingers. I'm too busy pretending that I don't have to do anything. La 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 la. Don't fall into that trap, okay? Every healthy person realizes that you can get the easy win when you put in an easy, teeny little bit of effort. So that being said, here's a couple things you can do that will get the motor running for him, okay? If you want to satisfy him in bed, number one, find out what already turns him on. Guys have a pretty established template of sexual turn on. And all you really need to do is tap into what he's already into. Find out what his fantasies are. Find out what his kinks are. Tell him some of yours first, in a non-threatening way, of course. Always phrase them in terms of what you want to do with him, okay? But nothing about what you've done with other people. That's a tricky little space sometimes to navigate. Don't go there. Just keep it between you and him. Now, by leveraging this template, once you understand what his particular sexual template is, it takes almost zero effort on your part, and you're practically guaranteed to get the result that you want. Just strike up the conversation and text with him sometime, or on the phone where the risk is a lot lower, and you can find out what it is that really gets him going. The next one is to start without him. You know, maybe he's lying in bed next to you, he's watching something on Netflix, you're reading your book. Why not get a little busy under the covers while you wait? Guys love it when women self-pleasure. It's a validation that you do, in fact, like sex. See, guys have this weird perception of women's interest in sex, so it helps to reestablish your sexual energy and your needs. You can also sneak your hand under the covers there and provide him a little bit of distraction while he's viewing his Netflix binge. Trust me when I tell you that men enjoy the initiative being taken from your side. We feel like the entire pressure of initiation is on our side. All right, we know that it isn't, but at the same time, we feel like it is. So if you're worried about being shut down, if you're worried about that little rejection, then you might want to consider, again, communicating that you're excited to be vulnerable with him, but you also have certain sensitive areas. Let him know what they are. Funny enough, talking can sometimes be one of the best aphrodisiacs. Another way you can satisfy him in the bedroom is, of course, knowing how to talk a little dirty with him. And I say a little dirty because you don't really need to get gross and vulgar. And I know that it's not the most intuitive thing to talk about. This is why I included a very special bonus on Dirty Talk with my Irresistible Desire add-on program, the Fast Track to Destiny. You don't have to get raunchy or vulgar, ever, really, to talk dirty with a guy. You only need to be sincere with your emotions when you say it. This is really important because a lot of women and a lot of guys also think that, have thought that the porn star dialogue is the sexy dialogue. In reality, it's pretty intimidating the way a lot of those women talk to the guys. So a guy, frankly, just wants the woman he's in love with to be real about it, just to be sincere, like you really mean it. If you sound shaky or weird about it, that's what's going to kill the vibe. Just try to get the tone right. That's the one thing that the porn stars do that works for most girls out there. You don't need the words, just the attitude. And speaking of attitude, here's what he's looking for in your attitude, so you know what to communicate when you are talking dirty to him. First is desire. Show him that you really do want him and this sexual intimacy. Next thing is, of course, what I said, sincerity. Show him that you're into it. This isn't just an act, you really mean it. The next one is comfort. You're not going to freak out or go into a mad jag of crying at the first opportunity. You're not, right? I'm just checking. Don't go there. Acceptance of his needs, of his desires, of him. This is really big, really, really big. Acceptance is right up there at the top of the list. Matter of fact, let's move that up to the top of the list. That's probably the first thing you should make sure is communicated with whatever you talk to him about in bed. And pleasure. Tell him he's giving you pleasure and let him know that that you're enjoying it, that you're into it, okay? Dirty talk isn't so difficult that you can't start by doing a little bit the next time you guys get together. Even if it's just a few, yeah, that's the way I like it, or a, yeah, just like that. Go ahead, get a little carried away. That's also a part of it. He wants to believe on some level that you're driven completely wild by his crazy masculinity. We're just looking to be the man, after all. And if you want to discover more about how this spell, this love spell is created with a guy, and you want to get that magical attraction going everywhere, bedroom or no, I want you to go on over to datingadviceguru.com/true romance. That's datingadviceguru.com/true romance. All one word run together. I've got a shocking psychological trick about men that you can use, and something that most women are never going to discover about how guys think and feel. And it's a perfectly ethical technique that he won't even notice. It removes the love barriers from a man's mind and can turn him into a hopeless romantic. You know, the kind of romantic guy who leaves flowers on the windshield of your car, that romantic guy who texts you at night just at the right time to let you know he's thinking about you and how much he wants you. That kind of guy. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com/true romance. And I'll be talking again soon. This is Carlos Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. As always, live and love with passion.
datingadviceguru.com, the Dating Advice Guru podcast and YouTube content, and all content herein is copyright Morpheus Productions, LLC. Feel free to contact Carlos at www.datingadviceguru.com, on the forum, or click the Ask Carlos link on the site. We welcome your comments and questions.